God forbid you are sitting in this place saying, I don't care about legacy. You need to care about it, because somebody's got to live in the life you have. You are passing something down whether you want to or not.
Hey, what's going on, you guys? Welcome to the Mindset Mastery Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Velasquez, and I'm super glad you're here today. I appreciate it, and I look forward to adding value to your time. That is one of the many goals here at the Mindset Mastery Podcast, along with the idea that everything is happening between our ears all too often, and so we want to begin to learn little things we can do every day to become healthier in our mindsets. In Proverbs, it says, as a man thinketh, so is he in his heart, meaning that whatever we think is going to store up in our heart and eventually become the thing we say and the things we do and the action we take will be rooted out of what is in our heart. And so I want to make sure that whatever is in my mind, that whatever I'm thinking is healthy and wholesome and valuable and profitable, not only for me, but for those around me as well. So in that same vein, as always, the root of all of this comes because without the right mindset, it becomes difficult for us to then build the healthy foundation, maybe in our own personal faith, maybe in your marriage, in your family, and especially in the four walls of our homes, because maybe as an entrepreneur and someone who is building something for the benefit of your family and others, that is amazing, but I do not want to compromise or jeopardize my own faith, my own marriage, my own family, or my own four walls in the process. And so it is important that we begin to build mindset mastery in our own selves. And so today is part 2. And so if you missed it, last week I put out a podcast called Today Matters. And it simply was just encouraging us as a recap that today matters. Therefore, I'm going to do these things, right? And there was 12 of them. And because of the length and the time, I did 6 of them last week. And this week, we're going to be breaking down the other 6. So my encouragement is go back, listen to Today Matters, part 1, and then come back and listen to part 2. But truthfully, you can listen to part 2 and it'll be just fine. Then go back and listen to part 1. So for the sake of time, let's just jump right back into it. And again, have in your mind's eye, right? Imagine you are saying, today matters, and because today matters, I'm going to XYZ, XYZ, or I will, do these things. And number 7, and we're starting at 7 because last week we did 1 through 6, but number 7 is, today matters, therefore I will earn and properly manage my finances. That's a powerful thing. I think there's so much that can be said to these statements that we want to implement in our lives as far as taking on a healthy mindset. So to limit myself for time's sake, I'm just going to give you some of my thoughts towards these that hopefully will be encouraging to you. And to think today matters, therefore I will earn and properly manage my finances. That is a powerful statement, and we should all want to take that on. I will give you some references that you can look up later, but check out Ecclesiastes 5:10 through 20. It speaks to this very thing. But when I think about I will earn and properly manage my finances, it is saying that I'm going to take responsibility to use my gifts, my talents, the things that God has given me in order to properly earn and properly manage those finances. I don't know about you, but there have been plenty of times in my life where I've not managed finances well. And right, we know in the Bible it says too, right, to whom much is given, much is required, meaning the more we have of anything, the more it requires us to be good stewards. And so I like that word. So today matters, therefore I will earn and properly steward my finances. Okay, number 8. Today matters, therefore I will deepen and live out my faith. Man, this one is so important. It's at the foundation of why the Mindset Mastery podcast exists, because it is critical that we have the right mindset when it comes to building a strong foundation of our own faith. And this has been thrown out there many a times. I'm not the one who said it, but I've heard it many times, right? And it's this quote or statement that if you don't believe in anything, you will fall for everything. If you have nothing to believe in, you'll fall for anything, right? I'm paraphrasing it, but when it comes to deepening and living out our faith, I can't deepen and or live something out that I don't have or that I don't understand. And so Colossians 2, 6 through 7 speaks to this. And what I was thinking about when I read this was, it says, I will deepen. And it's to say it's my responsibility to want to grow and deepen something. It could be deepening knowledge of something. It could be deepening my understanding of something. And so to deepen and live out my faith is to want to grow closer to the source of who my faith is in. And for me personally, that's God. My faith is in Jesus Christ. And so it's my responsibility, and therefore, because today matters, I'm going to make that a consistent and committed, intentional step in my life to deepen and always live out my faith. Okay, number 9. Today matters. Therefore, I will initiate and invest in solid relationships. This one is huge. Can I just be honest right now? I'm in a season of life where I am experiencing how do I want to put this? I'm experiencing a heightened sense of awareness in the value and structure of the relationships that I am in and that are around me. And now this is my personal season. So I'm not saying this is where you need to be or where you're at, but I'm just giving you an example because this one hits home differently, because today matters. I will initiate and invest in solid relationships. Here's what comes with this, because it has to do with the environment, right? The environment in which we put ourselves is going to have a huge effect on how we then live out our lives, because whatever environment we're in, the residue of that environment is going to get on us. And that is true of relationships, because each relationship almost is an example of an environment per se. So the environment of my relationship to my wife is important because it's my wife. I need to initiate and invest in that relationship. And if it's not solid, we need to make it solid, right? Just as an example. Now, there are those relationships where, you know what? They're just not solid. They're almost just comfortable. They're just there. It's through association maybe. And it's not to say it's right or wrong, good or bad. It's just to say, is it something I want to initiate and invest in? And is it a solid relationship? And so it's important. And so because today matters, I'm going to be intentional and have a mindset that wants to and will initiate and invest in solid relationships, right? The foundation of that is Colossians 3:12 through 24. Check it out. But it is critical, right? If every relationship you're in breeds a certain environment, you have to ask yourself, what do I need to do to better and or strengthen that environment? And is it one or an environment I should be in? Is it a solid environment, right? And I'm exchanging the word environment for relationship in this one. But all right, number 10. Number 10 is today matters. Therefore, I will plan for and model generosity. I will plan for and model generosity. Now, I don't know what Proverbs 11:24-28 says off the top of my head, but it speaks to that. But I'm thinking about how in certain seasons of life, right, you would in farming, right, you spend time planting seeds and you spend time cultivating and doing all the things, right? So when the rains come, you yield the harvest, and then in that harvest, you reap what you sow per se. But you don't just take for yourselves, but you take what you need, you store up some, and you give the rest as an example, right? And so it's like, I'm going to plan for and model generosity. And if we are doing things principally, especially according to the Word of God, we're going to have more than enough. right? God wants to give us an abundance of things. And so because today matters, I will plan for and model generosity. I will plant seeds and I will cultivate the ground and I will have prepared for the rain. So when the crops come, there will be an abundance to the point where I can plan, meaning I can have for myself and my family and put some in the storehouse so then I can give to those who are also in need, right? I want to model that behavior. I want to have a mindset that plans for and models generosity. Giving is incredible. The word says it is more blessed to give than to receive. There's nothing wrong with receiving, okay? But it says it's more blessed to give than receive. All right, number 11. Number 11 for Today Matters says, Today matters, therefore I will embrace and practice good values. What are good values? Right now, this may change for each individual depending on what it is you value. I know personally, I value all of these principles that it's telling me I need to do each day. I value learning. I value being patient and taking time. I value processing things. I value people. I value giving. I value so many different things, right? And it says, Today matters, therefore I will embrace and practice good values. And it says the key word in this is practice. We need to practice the things we value. Practice. So put it into motion. Take action on the things that you embrace that are good values and practice them. Okay. Psalms 119:33 through 40 breaks this down and gives us an idea as to and speaks to what that means. And then lastly, we have, because today matters, I will seek and experience improvements. This is so huge because when it comes to mindset mastery, when it comes to having a mindset that is healthy and wholesome, right? I say this often, or as of recent, I've been saying it often, not necessarily on the podcast, but mindset mastery is not a destination. It has to do with the character in which we become in the process. And so, because today matters, therefore I will seek and experience improvements. It's to say that we never arrive. And because I know it's not about arriving or the destination, as much as it's about seeking and experiencing improvements. It's seeking to improve through experience. Be willing to try new things. Be willing to take steps in the direction of your preferred future. Experience them and then improve upon them. Seek to improve, right? I think that this is one of the most critical Today Matter statements, right? And again, it says, Today matters, therefore I will seek and experience improvements. We have become, I think, a culture that to a degree, and I think a greater degree than I would like to admit, has not been a society or culture who seeks. We want to just arrive. We want to just become. We want to just have. But it says that we need to seek and experience improvements. I don't think it's no surprise. Now, the foundational reference to this was 1 Pt.2, 1 through 3. But it also reminds me of the very common saying in the Bible where it says, Seek first the kingdom of heaven, and all these things will be added to you, Matthew 6:33. And I want to seek and experience improvements. I don't think that it's ordered that way for no good reason, and not to just get on my high horse for this particular one for Today Matters, but it's pivotal because I think in some sense it's not far off to say we need to seek all of these things, all of these statements, and not be so quick to want to move past just to get somewhere, but take the time to seek things out so you can experience improvements. And that is what mindset mastery is all about. And I've already said it, so I won't beat a dead horse. But remember, it's not the destination that matters as much as the character you become in the process. So you guys, as always, I appreciate you. If you haven't yet, go back, listen to part 1. because it's a two-parter, and there are 12 statements for Today Matters, and they are incredible just opportunities for us to actually implement them in our lives. Pick one or two and be intentional with them and start to implement them. We need to become people who seek to improve through the experiences we have, and then rinse and repeat that. You guys, as always, check out the show note links below. Sign up for the free weekly email that I put out. It's all about mindset and how we can improve. I also offer a free 30-minute coaching call. If you are specifically an entrepreneur or someone who wants to be an entrepreneur, or you have an idea about what you want to do, you know deep down in your heart, you're thinking, I feel and sense I am called for more than what I'm doing. It's not about what you're doing is right or wrong. This is about a deep desire down in your heart to accomplish and become the person you know God has called you to be through the avenue of entrepreneurship. If that is you, sign up for that free coaching call. I would love to encourage you and help you take some first steps to get you going on your journey and see where it goes from there. That link is here as well in the show notes. You guys, I appreciate you, and we will see you next week. I'm Coach Velasquez. We'll see you on the other side. Peace.
God forbid you are sitting in this place saying, I don't care about legacy. You need to care about it, because somebody's got to live in the life you have. You are passing something down whether you want to or not.